set the bar so high, telling them I'm a fantastic human being. Oh, you gotta set reasonable expectations, man. Guys, thank you so much for coming out tonight. I appreciate y'all being here. Admittedly, I wouldn't be that shocked if you hadn't come, what with the terrible monsoon outside. I was bailing my car out today with a Tupperware dish. So I'm surprised I'm here personally. I think I deserve a round of applause. No, it felt appropriate. I don't know. Like I'm glad that the weather came and sort of cast this tone over things. Because when Chris told me that my story didn't have to be funny, I think I took that license a little far. I do want to tell you guys about a multiple fatality car accident I was in a couple of years ago. Well, the fact that you're laughing really does give me hope. Not for us, but for something out there bigger than us. Well, and admittedly, it also is right that my car was leaking in the rain because, 4 years ago in college, my car did leak in the rain, and that's the only reason I asked not to be the driver when my German department carpooled to and from this wonderful, wonderful little German restaurant that a war bride named Ellie opened in Prosperity, South Carolina. Lovely place. Go sometime. Gasthaus zur Ellie. But excellent, excellent schnitzel. Not as excellent are the country roads of South Carolina. And as I was in the front passenger seat, coming back on a little 2-lane road in the middle of the night on that fine October evening, I saw just briefly, well behind us on the road, the lights of an ambulance. And then my next memory, I am standing on the side of the road. There's a just decimated Volkswagen and an ambulance to my right. And I am standing next to some cops and paramedics. And apparently I had been standing and speaking for quite some time without making much sense. Had been unconscious for half an hour. But suddenly, I asked, hey, wait a minute, were we in a car accident? Which was strange. The paramedics informed me that I had in fact been in a car accident, that we'd been rear-ended by that ambulance, which was going quite fast to reach the hospital. And we unfortunately did delay their arrival quite some bit, as well as significantly increasing the load that needed to be carried. Myself among them, because they asked me, are you all right? And I said, well, right now I am all right. But you should understand that you have about a minute and a half before I'm going to go into shock, so let's get that stretcher ready. I was very calm, quite the little Napoleon in the middle of my battle, because of course it's about me, right, and not about the two German exchange students in the back seat of our car who were killed more or less upon impact. It's fascinating. I wouldn't have thought that was the funny part for you guys, but we're learning so much about each other here in this space. I learned a lot about myself that night as well. Here's one thing you should understand. There are two fantastic drugs I can report on from that night. The first, the sheer feeling of not dying. My Lord, I was flirting with nurses all night long. Guilt would come, but that night I felt nothing but utter joy to be an alive person, snatched back from the brink. Second excellent drug that I experienced that night was morphine, and a lot of it. Ooh, if you're unconscious, you're required by law to spend the night in the hospital. So my nurse, he came to me and he was like, Allen, since you have to spend the night in the hospital, I see no reason why you shouldn't be doing morphine and lots of it. You have a headache, right? Let me tell you, audience members, if any of y'all are addicted to morphine, get it. Good stuff, right? Oh, you'll forget all about the dead girls for a minute. It's fine, you'll have plenty of time to remember them later, I assure you. I don't know, it's surreal, guys. I bruised my brain. I've always wondered if that changed my personality in some way, or whether just the experience changed me, but I did change, I think. I don't know, a certain darkness crept into me, you might say. I started delighting in listening to crowds in dark rooms laugh uncomfortably at the I don't know. As Chris was saying, I do stand-up now, and I think that played a bigger role in me getting started in stand-up than I would have realized at the time. You know, not just because I got a large insurance payment, which was a tremendous capital investment in my stand-up, which also gave me a joke I used to do around town quite a bit, in which I stated that was, in fact, how I learned the value of a human life. Which will take you further than you would have made it otherwise. And no, you won't feel comfortable with that fact, but you just live with it. That's just a little career advice for y'all who want to take it. But on the other hand, I also, I became a lot more morbid, so much more morbid. It seems also rather silly of me to announce that I'm morbid after having done this. But, in case y'all can't follow, I got morbid. Much morbider. And I don't know. Doing stand-up, all I want to talk about on stage is death, and audiences don't want to go there with me so much of the time. How dare they, first of all? But I think what they fail to recognize, the humor for me comes in the tension of how even in the face, even having had my mortality and that of those around me so clearly demonstrated to my heart, turn that thing off. You see me lay down the law? I'm amazed how in the knowledge of that mortality I can remain so incredibly selfish all the time. You know what I mean? It's that laugh of recognition. It's I managed to get so inside my head, be all I've had sex, but not recently. But also understand that in a couple billion years the sun is going to swallow our entire planet, I am able to cling to my bullshit and pretend it matters so well. That to me is the big cosmic joke, the total banality of everything that I can make myself care about in the force of the splendor and horror of everything that is, And there's so many ways of framing it, well, here's one. I'm sure y'all have heard before that when the universe first came into existence, there was nothing but hydrogen and helium, right? And all the heavier elements had to be forged in the center of stars when they went supernova. And that is how we know that if a star blows up in just the right way, eventually the pieces of that star just start selling each other lattes all the time. Take a moment to appreciate that that's one of the things that stars do. On a long enough timeline, stars are going to start filling out insurance paperwork and applying for divorces. Eventually, on a long enough timeline, a star is going to bail out the backseat of his car with a Tupperware dish. And that's going to bum it out more than the time that it exploded. I was devastated at having to bail out my car today. Meanwhile, in the middle of the Milky Way galaxy, there is a supermassive black hole, and gradually all of the matter around it is being drawn into it, vanishing past that event horizon. Consequently, our galaxy has taken on its beautiful, elegant spiral arms because it is swirling away, never more to return, much like water in a toilet. So, try to have fun, I guess.
Allen Butt, everybody! One more time for that.